Hello, and this is Dr. Edward Pearson. Today's Thursday, February 18th, 2010, doing another New Medicine Foundation video webinar. I'm going to stare at this slide here for about 5 minutes today, and let's just discuss food, because really that's at the heart of everything that is wrong with our health today, not just in America, but really any developed modern society. As a physician, we have two choices. We can either wait for people to get sick and symptoms to appear and life-threatening illnesses to happen, and then use the traditional acute and emergency care model to cover up the symptoms and save them from death and just wait for the next one while the underlying causes get worse. Or we can choose to do something different and really be a healer, which is what more and more people are looking for and more doctors want to do. We want to get back to being healers, and you just can't do that unless you can teach people about food. And that's really the number one thing that is causing all of the illness today. There's been a couple different food pyramids over the past couple decades, and it's not surprising that everybody's getting diabetes, because back 2, 3 decades ago, this bottom foundation of the food pyramid was starch, sugar, starch, and grains. And as we all overate these things, our sugar levels and glycemic foods and insulin levels went through the roof. And as a result, we all become insulin resistant and develop diabetes and get heavy, and you name it. So that food pyramid didn't work. And then they went to another food pyramid just recently that was very complicated and had different slices of vertical slices in the pyramid. It really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we created this one. And this is pretty simple. Water is first and foremost. We're water-based organisms, and we have a water-based planet. Both the planet and our bodies are about 70% water, so we need to get a lot of healthy water every day. And where that water comes from is another topic, but we need to focus more on water and less on all the fluid substitutes that we are drinking these days, sodas, pops, you name it. Next most important thing is fibrous fruits and vegetables, carbohydrates. And we've gotten really off track on what carbs truly are. There's starch carbohydrates and there's fibrous carbohydrates. And we've been really fascinated with the starchy carbs for decades now, again, because of that old food pyramid. So pastas, rice, breads, cakes, cookies, crackers, you name it. And as our stress levels go up and our adrenal glands and cortisol levels become deficient, we crave sugar and starch more and more, especially at night when we're supposed to be in bed, but we're not. We're up watching TV and news and entertainment. And our body says, hey, we need blood sugar to feed our brain, so let's eat more starch. So starchy carbs have gotten a bad rap, but we should reduce them right now, especially with the incidence of diabetes and insulin resistance and obesity. But we need to refocus on fruits and vegetables. Very simple. This is where we get our fiber, our antioxidants, our nutrients, keeps our intestinal tract going, keeps us regular. Got to have those bowel movements every day, and we're all more constipated than we'd like to realize. So good old fruits and vegetables. And of course, healthy sources of protein, both vegetable protein, but also animal protein. We do not believe in removing food groups. Red meat's getting a bad rap. Animal meat's getting a bad rap. And certainly, if it's not organic, which is underlying this pyramid, it is probably bad for you because of the way we raise our animals in this country and other countries. Take a look at Food Incorporated. Sit down and watch that movie, Food Incorporated, with your family, and you'll see just how horrible our techniques are for mass-producing food with hormones and antibiotics and dirty, crowded, disease-ridden living facilities of these chickens and beef, cows, and livestock. It's just horrible. We don't need to be eating that food, but we need to be eating healthy animals, healthy, happy animals that have been allowed to thrive, and we need that protein and those fats. Even saturated fats, we need these compounds. Over the past couple decades, we also got away from fat and replaced it with sugar, and we got even fatter, so not healthy. Then up at the top is where really sugar and starch and even grains need to be. We've overdone it in this generation and the one before, so Even though there are some healthy sources for sugar and starch, we should use them in moderation, which is why it can vary from person to person. But because we've so overdone it and we're all pretty much on track until proven otherwise to develop some kind of diabetes with obesity now up in the 60% range and 20 to 30% of children, we've got to minimize these things. So really the smaller the tip of the pyramid here, the better. And then organic. And I think a lot of people these days are getting a bad taste, if you will, for this word. Organic means life. It means alive. It means it's real food. Certified organic may not be perfect in this country, and certainly the big multinational food corporations are probably trying to get more and more of their artificial food processes labeled as organic because it's so profitable to make food that way. But without eating organic foods, you're not getting real food, and you're getting all the chemicals and all the poisons, toxins, antibiotics, fertilizers that are really making us sick. Not to mention the foods are so overcropped and over-harvested and overplanted, and the soils are so overused that the foods themselves aren't even nutritious anymore. So to go along with incorrect distribution, too much sugars and starches and grains, and too much chemicalized foods and processed foods and trans fats, and too many chemicals and poor nutrition in the food, all of these things in general are what are making us sick. And what we do in New Medicine is teach people how to eat right again and use natural techniques to get them results quickly so they feel better, look better, lose weight, feel great. Do other scientifically necessary things as well, like replacing the hormones that are now deficient and excessive from the problem with the foods. So it's all about food. You should strive to find organic food, locally produced food, food that hasn't been raised with chemicals and hormones. Eat meats and animals that have been raised respectably and healthily, roaming free range, grass-fed, antibiotic, hormone-free. These things are so important. Our bodies are dying from these chemicals, and that's really what it's all about. And one parting thought is other words out there that are being misused or misunderstood, and two of my least favorite are gourmet and natural. And even though natural should mean something very healthy, unfortunately it does not, and it's been really ruined. It's been lobbied to be allowed for foods to be called and labeled natural that include lots of toxic chemicals. So natural no longer means something healthy. It's really got to be organic. And gourmet really means nothing except expensive. So as we all strive to go have a gourmet meal and eat at a fancy gourmet restaurant, it doesn't matter that you're paying $100 for that steak. Unless it's a grass-fed, free-range, hormone-free, hopefully labeled organic steak, or a wild-caught fish, or an organic chicken, or even organic vegetables. Doesn't matter how fancy the restaurant is or how enjoyable the dining experience is, you're eating toxic foods that have been prepared and raised poorly and are still only going to make you sick, unfortunately. There's nothing wrong with searching out organic foods, eating more around the dinner table, having family meals, and making sure that you're eating healthy foods, and relearning what real food is and how we should eat. So let's all get back to healthy foods. That's it for now. Until next time, thanks.